A very pleasant good evening to you as we welcome you to the second installment of the Storm Report as we talk all things Arizona Christian Athletics. My guest this afternoon will be head coach Jeff Bowen. You can see JB here. And joining myself and Ed Cole here this afternoon, we've got an all-star cast here in this one on the Storm Report. Not only are we going to talk with Coach Bowen about the game in Fort Worth, but we've got conversation with men's soccer coach Ted Krzywiecki. He'll be with us on set, along with player Austin Crable. The pride of Barry Goldwater Soccer will be here with us in studio. And we'll talk a little cross-country, too. So we'll start to mix things up there with the sports here on campus here with a bye week for ACU football. Cross-country conversation with Coach Brent Fahsholz, along with distance runner Kody DeHart. These two guys share some responsibilities with our cross-country track team as well. So we'll get to ask Coach Brent Fahsholz some things about our cross-country season that is upcoming. And then we will talk with, let's see here, Austin Crable. We mentioned that. And yeah, let's get to the show now. Special thank you to Tim Gosen, our technical producer here, and the support staff here. I'm Kevin Derryberry. He's Ed Cole. That's Jeff Bowen. And we are officially ready to begin the Storm Report. JB, I'd like to go back to the contest. This is a tough one as the club surrendered, 22 unanswered points and lost this one here. But as I like to begin each show, I like to start with the health of our football team. How's everybody doing? How did everybody come away in that game? It seemed like a physical game. You had to battle the weather elements. It appeared to be mild and muggy there. But how did everybody come out health-wise?
We're okay. We're fine. Little bumps and bruises, but normal football stuff, nothing major. And the weather wasn't a factor. We play in Arizona, so weather's not going to be a factor for us until December. So we're fine.
Thanksgiving is right around the corner here, upcoming here in November, and ACU football has been in the giving mode here of late. I think the last time we played Texas Wesleyan, we've given them 11 gift baskets, Coach, 11 turnovers in those two games. It's difficult to beat any opponent when you turn the ball over 11 times. And 5 here most recently.
Yeah, I mean, if you're turning it over that much and you have a lead going into the fourth quarter, you're lucky at that point. But then in the fourth quarter, we two that mattered. The last one on the last play, obviously that hurts. But you can't turn the ball over. I mean, that's basic football.
And also, Coach, you can't give up almost 250 yards rushing. Clint Epperson had 115. Nick David West, 118. So 233 between two men. Just 49 rushes, 250 yards. That's just unacceptable from a defensive standpoint.
No, I mean, obviously it wasn't one thing. I mean, it never is when you lose football games. We turned the ball over on offense. We gave up rushing yards on defense. We had trouble getting them off the field in third down situations. And special teams, their special teams flipped the field, and ours didn't. So it was complete. I mean, you never want to lose a game, but hopefully we learn from it, move forward. If you're going to lose a league game, you do it early, and so we'll just regroup and get ready for the next league game and Louisiana College coming into town in 2 weeks.
And then, Coach, as you mentioned, as we were getting ready for the production, you were like, well, this is the SAC. This is the Sooner Athletic Conference. Any given Saturday, any team can go down.
Oh, you just look at the scores. I mean, that's our conference, and we have to be ready to – it's so cliche. You got to be ready to play and all that kind of stuff. We didn't get the job done. Players, coaches, all three phases. So you can't get back – yesterday, so we just got to move forward and get ready for the next game.
Coach, when you have that lengthy time on that bus ride to kind of look back and play things over in your mind, when you start to prepare for practice beginning tomorrow here, what's one of those things that you think that, okay, I need to go over this with the coaches. I like to fix this first, or I like to at least address this issue. What would be that issue?
Well, our coaches are always naturally fixers, so you're looking at all the stuff that we talked about, and we'll have that built into practice. Defense getting off the field in third down, offense, ball security, playing well up front, giving our quarterbacks a chance to be successful. Just all those things that you worry about, and then having a sense of urgency on the special teams. That'll be something we address, and we'll be looking at some young players in the club game this week and see if we're missing any of those guys that can come up to the varsity and help us on special teams and stuff. Because if if special teams aren't important to you, I'll make sure I find somebody that feels like it's important.
It's certainly a huge aspect of the game. We often refer to that cliche that you mentioned, the three phases of the game, and offense, defense, and that kicking game, and how critical that is on both sides of the ball to defend the kicks, defend the return game. You look at your quarterback situation. You mentioned the line play just briefly there. I thought they struggled early in the game. I thought they got better late in the ball game, but you did elect to go to Shea Morales later in that ball game. What would be the idea going into practice with this extra week of time to prepare as you look at that quarterback position?
Same thing it is every week. I mean, the term we talk about it with our quarterbacks is I got to give the keys to the car to one player, and they're on the field and they got to get it done. And you don't get the keys unless you can drive the car. And Tyler's made a lot of big plays for us, and Shea obviously did well last year, but you can't turn the ball over. And we're not asking our quarterbacks to be Superman. We're asking them to drive the car, and they got to do that. And when you play our style offense, everyone's going to blame the quarterback when you lose. It was complete. The offensive line didn't play well in large sections of the game. Our pass protection was not good, so that includes the running backs. Drop balls by receivers, missed blocks. It was complete, fellas. I mean, there's not one thing or one person, and it never is.
Right.
So, and then as coaches, if they're not, I tell people all the time, what you see is what you coach. So it's on us as coaches to get them ready. They weren't ready, so that's our fault. We'll make sure that they're ready for the next Saturday out.
Were there any bright spots that stood out to you? Was it Riley Tucker with 10 tackles? Was it the defense having 4 sacks on their quarterbacks, on the opposition? Was it anything that you could really point to as a positive?
Well, if Riley making 10 tackles, everyone would be real excited about that. I'm not. If you're someone in your secondary is making 10 tackles, individual tackles, that means you're not getting it done up front.
We're missing some plays up front, right?
So, what I like, the guys stayed in the fight. They stayed in the fight, even late. We had that last drive to get down, and we had a couple shots into the end zone to at least force it into overtime, and we didn't get that done. So, our guys stayed in the fight. It's like I told the guys today. I mean, this is my team. We love these guys. They're going to play a lot of good football this year. That's one of the things about playing football. You play less games, so you got a lot more time to stew about it. You don't get to move on to another game in 2 days. So we got to just swallow this one for the next 2 weeks and learn from it. That's the key. If we learn from it, then we're going to be a better football team. If we don't learn from it, then we're not going to be as good as I think we can be.
Coach, perhaps the bye comes at a good time. What would you like to accomplish here in the next week and a half before you prepare for your next home contest?
Oh, just cleaning up the basic fundamentals of football. I mean, Chuck Noll said it a long time ago with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You don't win games with extraordinary plays. You win games by doing the ordinary exceptionally well. And if you do that, you win football games. And football is blocking, tackling, keeping the ball on offense, and on defense running to the football. You do those 4 things, you're going to be in every game. And that's what we need to work on. It's not a magical offense or defense or some big rah-rah speech from me. That's not what it's going to be about. It's going to be cleaning up what we didn't do well and execute.
Being a Chuck Noll guy, that's pretty rah-rah for me. I like it. It's great wisdom right there. It's so profound and it's so accurate. But Coach, what do you have, Ed, here as we part ways with Coach B here?
I'm good. We're just getting ready for Louisiana next week. As Coach mentioned, we'll just got to clean things up, give the guys a little bit of a break, and let everybody heal up, and just get ready for the next home contest.
Coach Bowen, we appreciate your time as always. Have a great week of practice, and we look forward to seeing you very soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate all you do.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach Bowen, our guest here on the Storm Report. We're going to take just a really quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk a little soccer with Teddy K and Austin Crable right here on the set on the Storm Report for week number 2. Welcome back to the Storm Report. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside Ed Cole. Joining us on the set from the men's soccer program here is head coach Ted Krzywiecki, along with player Austin Crable. Gentlemen, welcome to the Storm Report.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy to be on.
Yeah.
It's our pleasure talking. We're taking it from the gridiron to the pitch, as we like to say. And
Yes, sir.
For Teddy Krzywiecki, our first-year coach, what was the process like, and how did you arrive here, Ted?
Yeah, so it was really great. I mean, the people really were what made the difference to get me here. Loved everyone I met along the way, and obviously when you move across the country, it's not always the easiest thing.
Right.
But the people have made it really a great transition. Have loved my time here so far, so can't complain.
I know that you had some time back in the East Coast, Pittsburgh, I believe, at one point.
Yep.
And Coach Bowen just mentioned Chuck Noll. So when I saw the Pittsburgh thing, I'm definitely going to ask you about your connection with Pittsburgh and what it was like spending some time back in the East Coast.
Yeah, so if you're from Pittsburgh, you have to be a Steelers fan. I mean, it's basically a rule. So we're big Steelers fans out in that neck of the woods.
All right.
Football's big time on the western side of PA, so it's a big thing there. So, but from a soccer perspective, I grew up there, spent a lot of time there. Played college soccer at a school called Geneva College in western PA,
and you coached there as well, right?
Coached there as well. Yep. So I coached there, and also had a little stop in Chicago, Illinois, and then back to Pittsburgh. So enjoyed being there a lot. A lot of family there, and familiar, but the weather's definitely a little bit of a change from Western PA out to Arizona. But,
certainly is.
But
a little bit of
like
a change.
It.
Come
a little
on,
bit.
Ted. That is drastic as the day is long, right?
It's very true. Yeah, no, but I love it. I mean, I've been joking. I think I've acclimated to the heat already. So I said I'd never complain about the cold again after some of the winters we had in PA and Chicago. So no, it's good to be here. And Arizona is a great soccer state. Phoenix is really a hotbed for soccer talent, so I think it's a great place to coach college soccer, and a lot of really strong local talent to pull from in this area. So really
Fantastic.
excited to be here.
Coach, your time at Geneva and your time in Chicago, how has that gotten you prepared for this opportunity here with the Firestorm?
Yeah, so being at a school like Geneva, similar environment, Christian soccer program, and really the faith-based piece for me was one of the big things that got me out here as well. Knowing it was going to be a similar culture, similar environment that I was going to be able to work in, and really invest in the hearts, not only in the guys on the field, but in the hearts of the guys off the field as well. So that was one of the big things that I think prepared me well to be here. And Chicago, my time there, I coached in the CCIW, which is Division III, but it has some of the top Division III soccer programs in the country. They've had national champions. They're often teams in there that are ranked in the top 25. So tremendous talent level that you have to compete with day in and day out, and really great coaches. You have to be prepared every game. So I think that definitely stretched me and really my understanding of the game and learning and preparing and seeing the level of player that you have to work with, but also against.
Right.
And I think that here, I think there's quality all over here as far as players go. So I'm excited to be here and work with the guys here.
Having 10 seniors and 11 juniors, that really helps you, having that many upperclassmen to help you with that transition to get you prepared for this brand new venture. I would imagine, right?
Yes, it does. The cupboard is definitely not empty by any means. So I think that just speaks volumes to the work that some of the previous coaches have done in recruiting good players to come here. And there's a lot of strong leadership within the group, and I think there's a lot of things to build around. We saw that in the first two games with really the veteran performances that some of the guys were able to bring. So I'm going to lean on that a lot this year, and I'm excited to work with these guys. I think they're very hungry. They're eager to learn. They've really embraced some of the ideas that I've brought to them. So that's been, as a coach, I mean, that's what you want. You want your players to buy into what you're doing, and I really have felt that, and it's been a privilege to work with these guys. I've really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to see how we continue to grow, and I think the seniors are going to continue to lead and push the level, and we're going to lean on them as we move forward.
We're speaking here with the head soccer coach in his first year, Ted Krzywiecki, and Austin Crable here is also on the set. We'll have a couple questions for Austin here momentarily. But, Coach K, I wanted to ask you about the first match that you played against, as Ed referred to, and you guys mentioned the veteran-laden leadership that you have on this club. But you took on Grand Canyon University in an exhibition match at their place. I'm sure you were able to learn a few things about your squad that particular night, and it really gave you a good idea what you had going into the first contest. Of course, your second scheduled game was canceled. That was a game that you were to host here. Your first game to host here at Firestorm Field, that game was canceled due to COVID, but then you had Benedictine and Park. But how were you able to kind of work from that GCU experience to your first 3 games?
Yeah, I'll just say, I mean, it was an incredible experience for our guys. Anytime you can play a team with the caliber of GCU, I mean, I think they came into the year ranked number 22 in Division I. So the level of player you just compete against and play against really pushes you. And I think the difference really when you get to that level, and our guys saw it too, and Austin would probably agree, is that, you know, they don't miss chances. Mm-hmm. If you give them a look, they're going to take it. Right. They capitalize. I mean, if you make a mistake, they punish you. If they get 2 or 3 looks, they take their chances, and that's really the difference. I mean, they don't give the ball away as much. They're clean. They're really technical. So I think any time for us, you know, I look at that as a learning experience. You see the level at really the top part of the college game, and you're like, okay, well, we have some work to do. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, though, we went in that game very much not afraid. We're going to play our style. We're going to apply our principles. We're going to go right at them. We're not going to sit in and pack it in and hope that we can, you know, hold them to only a couple goals. We're going to play them, and we're going to see, mm-hmm. you know, how it goes. We're going to see where things fall, and we're going to learn from it. And I think our guys embraced that, and they were not afraid by any means of the occasion. They played really well, and that was encouraging for us as a coaching staff. And I really feel like for the guys as well, because they realized that they could play with that caliber of player. So when we said at the end of that game, we said, guys, we're probably not going to see a team at this caliber the rest of the year. And sure. that's probably the truth, because that's a really good team, and I think that gave us something to think about with the quickness and the pace that we have to play, and how clean we have to be if we want to be able to execute at a high level. So I think a good measuring stick for us.
Also, what did you think, and what were your takeaways from that experience and playing on their facilities?
Yeah, I definitely think it's almost like you're in the spotlight for a moment, and most times you can find yourself kind of getting lost, but in reality the guys were able to be very level-headed. They were able to keep their focus, and that's going to be one of our core values, is just sticking to making sure we focus and rise to the occasion and not crush under the pressure of the moment. Mm-hmm. And like Coach said, that in reality the level of the team with us was very high, and we were able to step up, and I think the biggest point for GCU that made the difference for them was just that they were very clinical. Like Coach said, they just didn't miss.
It's also good to start off 2-0. Austin, of course, beating Benedictine Mesa and Park Gilbert. Give up 1 goal in 2 games. You're up 7-1 as far as goals against. And how great is it to be 2-0 and be undefeated to start the season off?
Yeah, it's definitely it's a nice feeling, right? The biggest thing that we have to remember that coaches emphasize a lot in practice as well is that you can't get complacent, right? When it comes down to it, when you find yourself up, it's very easy to kind of look and go, oh, we're fine. You know, we can kind of cruise a little bit. We look at the levels of the team, and we go, we're looking good. But in reality, even being 2 up, the focus has always been making sure that we are moving the ball, being sure that we are focused on what the next goal is, and making sure that we can continue to move forward and never be falling behind. So it's a great feeling, but it's always like keeping that focus.
Austin, this is your 3rd year in the program. What is it about this program that is so special to you to make you come back again and run this back?
I would say for me, and you can always hear it in our after-team prayers, is the brotherhood. The biggest thing about soccer that I find different than some other sports when it comes down to being a team sport is that it truly is a brotherhood. You realize what a guy will do for you when you're in the 90th minute and you've lost the ball, and that guy now has to make like an 80-yard run at full sprint to make a slide tackle just so that you don't look bad. and it's not always the easiest thing, right? Like you're panting and I can't make it, but the guy right next to you is going to for you because he cares that much.
That's tremendous. That brotherhood, it runs deep. It doesn't matter what sport you're playing, whether you're in the pool or you're in the gym or you're on the pitch or you're on the gridiron. They refer to that brotherhood, and we talk about it quite a bit, even in the broadcasting fraternity. It's just a big deal, and it's something you have to recognize. When you do recognize it and you identify it, you know where you fit, you know where you belong. It's pretty cool when you find your place. Just a couple other quick questions. Do either one of you guys, are you familiar with FIFA, and do you play the game? Do you guys go that way? Coach, you're young enough to play FIFA.
I used to play a lot of FIFA,
Okay.
but I just don't have the time
Right.
anymore.
I
But
don't
this guy may. So.
Funny enough, actually, I don't, right? So for me, it's student athlete, student first. That's where my time is dedicated to, and then I'm in the gym besides that.
That's awesome. I know
That's
you're
awesome.
studying biology, Austin. That's fantastic. Go to a couple of your teammates here. You mentioned the 7 goals you had, but this combination of Herman Lopez and Esteban Franco, these guys got something going. Describe the chemistry that these guys have for you and what kind of players these guys are.
Yeah, I think those two guys. The interesting thing is those guys obviously show up on the stat sheet. They're both fantastic players. They play off of each other really well. But for those guys to capitalize and finish, there's a lot of interplay and work and effort that goes into getting the ball to them. So I've been impressed with all the work of our attacking players, but really from back to front. I mean, the midfield for us has been really strong. We rotate guys in. We play quite a few guys, and it's been great to see that when those guys come off the bench, they still make an impact. The level doesn't drop. So
That's what you want as a head coach, right?
When you have
want
that,
1 through 25.
Absolutely. And when you have that, I feel like, when you get late into a game, it makes a difference because you have legs and you can wear teams down. So I felt that that's a strong suit with us and especially our attacking play. And German and Franco, they've been fantastic so far. They've been dynamic, dangerous, electric, all the words you want to use for attacking players. But really the chemistry with our attack has been fun to watch, and I think it's going to continue to grow from here as long as we continue to focus and give a great attitude and effort each day. So
you're also getting some good goaltending. Alex Okeda picked up a shutout in there, and you're just getting some great team play. And my last one for the fellas is Ted Lasso. Are you guys in? Are you on board with Ted Lasso? It's the rave of the globe right now.
I have not put up the believe sign in the locker room yet. I'm saving that.
Yet.
I'm going to save that for later, though.
Okay.
But yes,
it's deep. There's some interesting things in there. Obviously, it's a show. It's for entertainment. But Jason Sudeikis does a great job. Austin, your thoughts on Ted Lasso? Have you had a chance to take a look?
Sadly, I haven't.
Okay.
I've been a bit behind the 8 ball with all the schoolwork I got going on.
That's all right. That's okay, and that's how it should be. Ed, what do you have for
That's
these
good.
fellas?
I'm glad you said schoolwork because we can segue into what I was going to ask you about being a GSAC Scholar athlete. What does that mean to you to represent the Firestorm as a GSAC Scholar athlete?
Funny enough, it's my mom's biggest pride. For me, it's always been a thing because, long story short, my mother is a cancer patient. And so my biggest goal has been making sure that I get into a good med school and make a difference. And so holding that title is something more important to me than sometimes being on the pitch. You can make a difference in somebody's life more than you think, and the doctors that have been in my life have made a lot of impact. So it's definitely been a good title to have.
That's awesome.
Austin Crable and Ted Krzywiecki, honestly, Coach, just by the experience here, meeting Austin for the first time, character young man, tremendous. The goals right there to already want to help society put aside what he's working on to have that better vision to maybe help mom down the road or help others like that. That's selfless. That's incredible. Congratulations to you, your success in the classroom, and Coach Krzywiecki. Glad to have you on board.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Guys.
It was fun. Thanks.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
Thank you, guys.
Pleasure having you. That is our second segment on the Storm Report. Don't go away. We've got more. We're going to talk. We're going to talk a little running. Yeah, we're going to get into it. Moving around a little bit, a little cross country with head coach Brent Fahsholz and distance runner Kody DeHart right here, straight ahead on the Storm Report. Welcome back to the Storm Report. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside Ed Cole. Joining us on the set is the cross-country coach, now in his third year, Brent Fahsholz. And joining us also on the set is distance runner Kody DeHart. Gentlemen, welcome to the Storm Report here on this gorgeous Monday evening.
Yeah, glad to be here. Yeah, it's an honor. Thank you so much for having us.
Fantastic. It was fun because we just got to talk to the fellows about soccer with Ted Krzywiecki and Austin Crable. Just great guests here. And so, Coach Fahsholz, now in your third year, what was it like for you to take the reins here at Arizona Christian University? We hadn't had the facilities just yet, but we had a lot of plans on paper, and we had a lot of architectural renderings about what we were going to do. They showed you the vision, and you kind of worked your way through that first couple of years, and now you've got facilities right here on campus. What's that change been like for you?
It's been nice. I got here, and then Kody, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we had 4 healthy running guys.
I believe that's correct, yeah.
And we had 4 ladies, and I think 1 or 2 of them were healthy enough to run when I got here in the spring of 2019. And so we've expanded the roster. We're up to about 22 or 23 runners this season now.
Okay.
And the facilities and the campus has really helped with that. Again, anytime we could get a recruit onto the campus to see the facilities, and not just, again, our athletic facilities. In fact, our athletic facilities largely weren't here for a lot of the people who are here now. It's the academic facilities. It's the overall campus community and culture that I think a lot of the people on our team are here for. And so the cross country doesn't hurt. And the new facilities coming in help quite a bit. But yeah, it's the whole picture, and it's a great time to be a Firestorm cross country runner because, yeah, we really have started to turn the corner. Our numbers are up, our facilities are improving, and certainly the talent level in our program has increased quite a bit too. So
phenomenal. Kind of an easy softball question here for both of you, really, for Kody and Brent. But distance running as a whole, cross country, mixing it all together. Is it safe to say that you both love to run? What is it about the sport of cross country or track or distance running that engages either one of you to coach it or to be a participant as an athlete?
Good question. Yeah, I smile because I knew that one was coming. We get that a lot as distance runners. Why do you do what you do? Do you enjoy what you do? I really do. You have to love what you do. When you put your body through that much, there is a lot of brotherhood talk that goes on in sports, and I find it in cross country as well. We really do just put our bodies on the line, and sometimes having that guy next to you is what makes the difference. It's what helps out. Another thing I like about the sport, when you're in the 5th mile of a race, when you're neck and neck and you got 5 minutes to go, everything burns. There's not a lot of other sports where it's just who wants it more. And a lot of the training has been the same for both parties, but at some point when it's on the line, you got to want it more than the other guy. Mm-hmm. And so it's really just a gritty, tough sport. And having my brothers there, having my teammates there has really been the difference in a lot of races.
And that goes for a lot of different things, right, Ed?
Yes.
And you just think about the want. Who wants it more? And that usually defines the victor or not.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. And sometimes you can't coach that. I mean, Coach has done the best he can to get us to that point, and then we got to put it on the line for him. So there's a lot of trust that goes on.
Yeah. Kody, so you do cross country and track. How is the preparation any different for cross country as opposed to track, as opposed to what you do for the track team?
Yeah, good question. So with cross country, there is one race that everybody does. In track, you can get a little more specialized with it. And Coach Brent does a great job of studying our athletes individually, knowing which race each individual can excel in, and then training us to be the best that we can in that race. So in short, yes. Now, I'm more of a distance guy on the track, so my training won't change very much. But if there's an 800-meter guy, Coach Brent has this assignment of making you the best you can be for an 8K, and then 3 months later, you got to sprint around the track for 2 laps. So it's a tough job, but it depends on which race is your bread and butter, and that's where the trust comes in. A lot of training can transition. But the buy-in to the program is what will separate you to be the best that you can be on race day, no matter what season.
Yeah, cross country is a lot more a lot easier to coach for me than track for that very reason. Again, whether I do a good job of it or not, track gets a lot more difficult because, yeah, you got – and they fall into categories. I mean, you got the mid-distance, and they're kind of 8 to 15, and there's ranges and stuff. But, yeah, like cross-country, all of the guys are training for that 8K. All the ladies training for a 5K, and it's pretty straightforward. So.
And Coach, we mentioned that you were the third-year coach as our cross-country head coach, but then you also are our track coach, and then you coach both the men and the women. So you've got your hands full, to say the least.
Yes, I do.
The young man from Oregon.
Yeah. Well, yes, and I'll say, though, on the track side, it is easier for me not being the head coach. Very happy to have Ted Krzywiecki as our head coach. He's got years, decades of experience. And one thing I tell recruits, they come in, he's won a championship anywhere he's gone, whether it's track and field or even in soccer. And we won a conference title this last year, and that was his first, with the Firestorm and stuff. And so he makes my life a lot easier. I don't have to do all the hotel booking, the travel planning. That goes on to Ted in the springtime. So Ted Campbell handles that stuff.
About 3-4 years ago, we had an athlete here, a student athlete here named Kendrick Murphy. I don't know if you had a chance to coach Kendrick. You might have been at the very he might have just graduated, but Kendrick Murphy, a football player. Out of curiosity, how often do you get to have a conversation with Coach Bowen about a football athlete, or do you ever have conversations about certain athletes? I think Coach Bowen's probably in favor of guys multiple sports, but maybe not in season. So how does that work as far as being able to particularly participate in multiple sports?
Well, Coach Bowen's also a former track coach, and so if we get lost, we go to Coach Bowen too. He doesn't just coach football; he helps us on track too.
Over 50 years of coaching experience.
54 years.
Yeah, no, and so football has been a huge help for us on the track and field side as far as recruiting, whether it's sprints, even some jumpers and things like that. And so, Coach Bowen and the football staff have been amazing. I'll be honest. Full disclosure, I was worried coming here having a football program because, in other schools I'd been at, things I'd heard of football programs, they rule the universe and, you can kind of work around their schedule and things like that.
I see.
But our football coaches here have been amazing to work with. They just, as far as organizing the recruiting, guys that we sign, what their responsibilities are going to be, the communication is really clear and they want to help us to succeed. And so really appreciated Coach Bowen. Coach Cooper has also been a big part of that as well. And so they've been great to work with. And, I have not met Kendrick, but I'm not surprised. Ever since we've had a program, the football team has been a part of it.
Right.
And so that's been good for us.
That's kind of athletes that all the coaches here are recruiting and the kind of student athlete that is attractive to ACU. So certainly a lot of coaches are doing their jobs. A lot of administrators are doing their jobs getting these student athletes here. As we've continued to talk about the spiked enrollment over the last couple of years, it's just been outstanding. For Mr. DeHart, though, we want to just give him a little extra love here. Nominated for the A.O. Doer Scholarship Award. Now, we're going to all think like A.O. Doer, we're going to need some help with that. So I'll let you expand upon a little bit. But really, I'll just give it to you how it was written in the piece. And I think maybe Mr. Ghostin put this together for us. But the A.O. Doer Scholarship Award is named in honor of the NAIA's former executive secretary for his 26 years of service to the association. The A.O. Doer Scholarship Award has been presented since 1967 to one male and one female junior student athlete in any sport who have excelled in scholarship, character, and citizenship. And each nominee will also have a solid GPA of at least 3.75 and up to 4.0. So you have to not only be gifted on the track, but then also you get it done in the classroom. What does this nomination mean to you and our university?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And any time this award is brought up, I just feel humbled. I remember telling Coach, look, I just feel like one of the guys. I'm just trying to do the work that I see a lot of people doing. And so any recognition is just very humbling. Funny story about the award when I was nominated, so I don't have any social media or anything like that. I'm an old soul,
Okay.
So no social media. So I start getting all of these texts from people who saw it, and I was like, what is this? And I knew it meant a lot to me when Brent Smith, former baseball player at ACU, All-American.
Not to interrupt you, all-time Hitler here at ACU.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Just an absolute stud, but more than anything he's done on the baseball field, I just look up to his character and his heart for the Lord.
Without question.
And he reached out to me in a text and just said, hey, congrats, buddy, and I know that he was nominated for that same award. And so even just to be kind of, not to sound dramatic, but just in the same category or same breath, with all of the accolades that he has accomplished at this university, it just meant a lot to me. And so I was just very humbled from the beginning. I tried to do my best in school. I tried to, make everyone proud for how they have provided for me and how they have cared for me. And then above all of that, I just try to act like Christ in the classroom or in my work ethic. But like I said, the accolades are very nice, but I feel like one of the guys. I feel like this could have gone to anyone. So I'm very humbled to be honored in that way.
You're just Kody DeHart at the end of the day, really, right? You're just Kody D.
Hey, just another guy, man. There's a lot of athletes out here.
It's an incredible distinction, Coach. What do you have, Coach?
Yeah, well, and it's true. He is just one of the guys. We're unusual with sports teams. We don't have captains on our team. I don't like that distinction, within my coaching philosophy and stuff, because, again, I want people to be themselves. In, previous programs I've been in where we've had captains, it's like people do whatever they need to do to become the captain and get that label. And it just basically, kind of, it's a G.K. Chesterton principle. If we need a leader who doesn't want to be a leader. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I look for in the leadership on our program. And so Kody's, again, from day one, he's been a leader, and he's never asked me to be a leader even once.
Sure.
And that's one of the ways I know.
You gotta like that, right? Mm-hmm. That intangible where you don't have to teach that. You either have that quality, that trait, or you don't in many cases. You mentioned Brent Smith. I'm going to go back to Coach McDonald. Hopefully his wife's doing well. Thoughts and prayers for Mrs. McDonald, of course, as always. But Joe Mack, another great guy. But just think about one of his student athletes, Brent Smith, just a class act all across the board. How cool is that? It's a different part. It's another part of the brotherhood here on campus, but it's ACU's brotherhood. And so other athletes reaching out to other athletes, that's just, for Brent Smith to do that, that is just quality across the board.
Absolutely.
It really is.
It meant a lot for me, and Coach Mack does a great job of getting his guys ready physically, but also as leaders, so it did mean the world.
Kody, I've got one more for you. I asked this question to Austin in the previous segment, but for you, you're a GSAC Scholar athlete for the last 2 seasons. You've run for this program all 4 years you've been here. You've been in the GSAC championships all 3 years before this year, and I'm sure you're running it again this year. What is it about this program that intrigues you and makes you want to come back year after year and run for this program and represent the Firestorm?
Yeah, great question. So my freshman year, it was a challenging time. So the guy that recruited me could no longer coach for the school, and that'll throw any 18-year-old into this, what am I doing here, and am I in the right spot? Coach Brent has really been a solid rock, and he has come in from the start and been a leader, and I can't speak highly enough of how he has grown our program, continued to pour into us with really a humble strength. And so that has given me the ability and the drive to just continue to want to work hard for him. And then, like I said, I've been so blessed even just to be here. And so to give anything less than my best is to sacrifice the gift. So I just want to honor the Lord in what I do. I want to buy into this program and look, at the end of the day, the accolades and the awards, they're going to be what they are. But if I can be someone to the next guy who's going to be someone to the next guy, that's discipleship, and that's all we can look for in our program.
Amen.
Outstanding, Kody. Coach, my last one for you. What's it been like with the addition of Brian Bell?
Brian Bell, he's been so great. So me and Brian, funny story, we were both attending the same church, and he was sitting behind me, and we do the whole meet and greet time and all that. And somehow the state of Oregon got brought up. I think we told him we just moved from Oregon. He's like, I used to live in Oregon. And one way or another, we knew the same guy. His best friend growing up was a guy that worked at Corbin University, where I attended and coached at.
Okay.
And so we had that kind of common connection, and so this relationship built. And then as we were starting to talk about running, he mentioned, the Daniels formula for distance running coaching. Is like, wait, most people who know about distance running don't read that book. That's kind of a coach's book. Mm-hmm. And so I found out that he not only had coached running, but was a real student of running, and so having another mind helps. Someone who can challenge my mind, because I tell the runners all the time, don't just do anything I tell you to do, understand what I'm telling you to do.
Right.
And then, we kind of have a dialogue and talk about it. So Brian's someone who can do that for me. And there's that too. But he's also, I mean, he's an older guy. He's got a family of 9, I think. He's raised, multiple kids to adulthood. He's still got a 13-year-old in there. He's been in the military. He's got that background, and he's taught a lot of leadership and things like that. And so he brings military leadership and just general maturity. He brings knowledge. He's been a big pickup for our program, and couldn't be more thankful to have him with us.
Well done on the hire. How about that?
Yeah, well,
Oregon fraternity, that Oregon brotherhood.
That's right.
Comes full circle here in the great state 48, and you guys put that together. For the AO Doer Scholarship Award nominee, Mr. Kody DeHart, thank you for being our guest. And for Brent Fahsholz, thank you for being our guest here on the Storm Report. It's been a pleasure to have you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, and Kevin, by the way, the team they kick off their season on Saturday at the Embry-Riddle Arizona Invitational.
They do, and that's a great point. We mentioned that. We kind of already talked about that, but off the air. But you're right, Embry-Riddle, great facilities over there, just a short drive up the hill there. We spent some time at Prescott all summer long, but a great campus there, a great place to begin your season on 9/11.
Yes, no, absolutely. It's a very high-quality program. Their men's and women's teams are regularly in the top 15 nationally. It's, of course, at elevation, about 5,000 or so feet, and it's got a lot of hills in it. It'll be their slowest time of the year. We tell them this will be your slowest time of the year, and even more motivating, we're probably going to lose. This is a program that we're still trying to get up to.
Okay.
And so each year we want to make our first race of the year against Embry-Riddle and kind of get closer because it's possible. We can get to where they are. We're not as far off maybe as it may seem, but it's a program that we want to kind of measure ourselves against and certainly want to get to.
Kody, I did have one last one for you. I remember you being big on the hammock. You like to be out in the fresh air, out in the outdoors.
Big hammock guy.
If you could pick one spot that you may be familiar with or you're not familiar with, but you'd like to learn about it, where would you put that hammock?
Right, Williams, Arizona.
Williams.
You just go up the I-17, take a ride on the I-40.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. It doesn't get pretty up there, and it's nice and cold weather, 7,000 feet. Go for a run up there. That's really fun. That'll get the lungs pumping.
That'll open things up, huh?
Chill out in the hammock, man. There's nothing better than that.
And then Kody, after that, what are you watching on Netflix in the hammock?
Oh, on Netflix in the hammock. So I'm on Brooklyn Nine-Nine right now,
My son loves that show.
Which is Hulu. I'm sorry if I'm going off script here.
It's okay.
Well,
yeah.
You can change over.
We'll change over and go Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Andy Samberg, I know you're watching tonight, so I just want to say I'm a big fan. You got some good humor, so yeah.
Good stuff. Right there, that's Kody DeHart, and that is Coach Brent Fahsholz, our guest on the Storm Report. Don't go away. We are going to drive through with Jalen Mitchell and Aidan Quinn on the set. They join us next right here on the Storm Report. Welcome back to the Storm Report. Look at this panel we have now. To my left, Jaylen Mitchell, defensive end for your ACU football team. And next to him is Aidan Quinn. And then, of course, my guy on the other end, Ed Cole. Gentlemen, welcome to the set. How are you?
I'm doing good.
How are you guys? We're doing fantastic. Let's just go ahead. Let's just get to it. Aidan. 1994. You are 6 yards away from 2,000 yards here at ACU. We're looking at a silver lining. Tough weekend here, but for you personally, you are the all-time leading rusher here, and you are 6 yards away from 2,000. What would that accomplishment mean with such amazing coaches and student-athletes surrounding you your entire career here?
You know, it was funny. I had no idea until you told me when I walked in here. It's honestly, it's just a blessing. You know, that's when I came in as a freshman. My only goal was to make the travel squad. That's what I wanted to do. So I had two good running backs in front of me, and I didn't think I was going to get very much playing time. And I just wanted to be on the travel squad, so I got on every special team that I could. But to see where I've come now from my freshman year, it's just being able to develop my game has been huge with the help of Coach Bowen. Always in the running backs room, you know, he's the one that runs our meetings, goes over film. He's taught me since I was a freshman to be the student of the game. Half the stuff that I know now, I had no idea coming in out of high school. But the guys around me, I mean, my O-line, the receivers blocking downfield, Tyler handing me off the ball. You know, it's just honestly a true blessing that I even got to where I am now.
So you come to this school with a football background. Your dad coached you a little bit. You've been playing football for a long time. But you came here and you've learned more about the game.
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot of people will admit that, let alone, act that out or share that. So that's pretty cool for Coach Bowen and the staff that you're doing what you're saying you're doing, of course, but the guys are appreciative of the knowledge that they're gaining here and while they're getting an education at the same time. That's what we call a win-win.
Yeah, definitely a win-win.
Aidan, where would you be without the support and love from your family?
Nowhere. I wouldn't be here, that's for sure. My parents are my biggest fans. My younger brother, you know, it's always we played on the same football team when we were younger. It was always healthy competition. You know, we always try to be better than one another. But other than that, I mean, I have a huge family out in California. They're watching every weekend. It's awesome. I love my family. Without them, I wouldn't be the person I am today without them.
Now, your brother, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's something.
But he wears that San Francisco Giants stuff that ad nauseum at Firestorm Field. And I don't know why they keep doing that, but you're wearing your Halos cap here tonight. You're from Brentwood, which is, we've had some fun with that, but there's a couple different Brentwoods. So for our new listeners here and our new viewers here watching the Storm Report for the very first time, we've got Brentwood in Beverly Hills, California, and then we've got Brentwood in the Bay Area. So take us through that one, Aidan.
Yeah, so I'm from the Brentwood in Northern California, the Bay Area, not where OJ's from. You know, the nice one. I actually played against Jalen in high school.
Okay.
We had, when I was a sophomore, we played against each other. So that's how we got closer. As when I found out he was coming here, I was excited. But yeah, we're from the Bay Area. A little town called Corntown, not anywhere near the Southern California Brentwood.
Mm-hmm. So cool seeing your dad run around on campus, putting two and two together, and I just think that's great for you to have him close by that you can watch your games. And Ed made that reference to your family because that's ultra critical. But the guy to my left is Jayla Mitchell, and Jaylen, first of all, I want to congratulate you on your captaincy this year. It's pretty cool when your peers vote you in as a captain. You work through your own challenges here on campus as far as finding your way to the top, finding your way to a starting position, and then seizing that opportunity. And now you have a great your first year with us last year as far as extended playing time, and here you are a captain. What's that experience been like for you as we've kind of watched you mature a little bit here on the football field?
Yeah, it's been different. I never had anything like it before. I've always been kind of like the kind of guy that just does their own thing, just kind of pretty much go whatever the coaches say, just try to push along, do the right thing. And the first time getting recognition for it, as in front of everyone, is really different. But it's I appreciate it. It's cool. It's it's a new experience, and I definitely appreciate all of it.
What went into going from 10 to dropping the 0 to just going with number 1?
Well, one of my friends, Arthur Hayes, he was number 1.
Okay.
And then also I couldn't match Tyler Duncan no more. He had number 10, his quarterback. I'm like, I'm going to get the shine there.
All right.
I switched to number 1, dropped to 0. And do my
That was
thing.
respect for what we call the franchise and Tyler Duncan, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's good stuff, Coach B, right there. We don't pick up on that on Twitter or Facebook. We get to the nitty-gritty right here. Hey, what do you have for our guy, Jalen Mitchell?
Jalen, what was that experience like last year? We talked about it before the show, about that experience of winning the SAC championship, going 9-2, going out to Florida, going out to West Palm Beach, and that experience against Kaiser. What was it just like helping this team win its first SAC championship, go undefeated, and its first playoff berth?
It was a different experience, especially because playing in JUCO, my team wasn't really like a winning team that much. So coming here and winning as many games we won, and then going out there to Florida, be my first time being in Florida, is different. I never experienced anything like that. That weather, humidity, that level of play, it was different. But I definitely appreciated it a lot. Like it opened my eyes up, showing me there's a lot more than what we see on a weekly basis.
Does that motivate you more, knowing that, man, we got there, but man, we there's so much we left on the table, but now it's kind of unfinished business this season, knowing that, okay, this is where we can go. We know we can go even further and win a national championship.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I always want more. As an athlete, you always strive for more. You always want the best. We always want the bigger ring, So it's like whatever you got to do to get there, you got to put the work in and just figure out all the mistakes you made and just fix them and then go from there.
I ask each of you the same question. Outside of winning and turning in a test grade of an A on an exam, but what is your greatest accomplishment on the football field within a game? Do you like to bat a pass down? Do you want to get to the quarterback, get a sack? Do you want to lay somebody out? Do you want to do a decleater? What is that? What gets you moving? What motivates you personally on the football field, Jalen?
Personally, I'm not really a stat guy that much.
Okay.
I'm more of kind of change the game kind of player. Like when I noticed, let's say I make a play on the edge and they have to run the opposite way multiple times, and it's like they can't stop, they can't come my direction. It right. shows me personally that I'm doing something right. And it's like at the end of the game, I might have like 3 or 4 tackles, but in my head, I'm like, I know I did something to change the drive of the game. You know what I'm saying? So
during the game, they start going away from number 1. They start going, we're not going that way. Every time we go this way, we get a loss in the backfield. Something's not going right, so they go the other way. That gets you going. You just start, that grin comes out.
Yeah.
You start getting the attitude, the motor, it just starts moving, and you getting after right there, huh?
Yeah, no, I know I'm changing the game, and I can feel the whole momentum shift, and just like I know I'm doing something right.
That's from the defensive guy's perspective. He's on the hunt all game long. How about for you, Aidan?
For me, I like seeing the offense score points. It doesn't matter if it's myself or, it's Tyler throwing the ball, Tyler running the ball, John Cole catching it, or we hand a jet to him. It's just as long as I see points go up on the board, that's what gets me going. That's what gets me excited. Just seeing numbers go up and up and up and keep adding up. That's my favorite part of the game.
And Aidan, I would imagine a 57-yard touchdown run to start the game would get you really excited, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. There's a big shout out to my guys up front for making that hole impossible to miss. If I had missed that one, then there would have been a problem. We had to reevaluate why I'm playing the game.
See, I appreciate the humbleness. I appreciate the team success and the 57-yarder, great hole up front. Vandy and company got it done, right? But just outstanding run and the finish. But when I play basketball, I like to score. They always put me down low. I can block some shots and do some things. But my thing was I like to just send one to the next row, 3 or 4 rows back. I like to block a shot. I could come back this way. If I got a block shot, I was feeling good. That was getting my game going to the next level. So you just deferred all that success and personal stuff to the team, which is pretty cool. But you gotta like scoring touchdowns, right?
Of course. I mean, if you're an offensive player, who doesn't like scoring touchdowns?
How about trucking somebody or thumping somebody in the end zone? Does that not just come away with some?
My favorite thing is actually not running through someone. It's actually making them, embarrassing them.
Okay.
Taking their ankles. Making them miss. That's all my.
There you go.
My whole running style.
Fantastic.
That's great.
Ed, what do you have for us as we wrap things up on the Storm Report? They're telling me we're running along in my ear. I don't know if you guys are getting that. They're telling me we're running along in my ear.
Coach B says we're okay. So, Jalen, for you, when you look at when you're on the sidelines and you see John Cole break off a 97-yarder like he did a couple of days ago, just the stuff that he does, almost 200 yards receiving. He started off on fire these first 2 games of the season. When you look at Johnny Cole, what goes through your mind when you look at this kid? You're like, oh my gosh, this cat is incredible.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's All-American for a reason. But anytime I see J. Cole or Aidan or TD, any of them make plays, it's just like it's electrifying. It just gives us another boost on defense to go out there and get them back the ball and do it again. So it's just over and over and over.
By the way, that 97-yarder, the longest pass play in Arizona Christian University history, 97-yarders, Tyler Duncan to John Cole, near sideline, 9 route. Goodbye. Adios, jetpack. You can't catch John Cole from behind at all.
Unstoppable.
Fantastic. Guys, we've got the bye week. We kind of mentioned what the team's going to be doing. What do you guys do individually during the bye week, and how are things going in the classroom?
Personally, I like taking bye weeks as another week to get better. Like, you just keep the foot on the gas, keep going, work harder, because, like, if you take the foot off, you get complacent, you get lackadaisical, and it's going to pay off. It's going to hurt you the next week. That's me personally. And then in the classroom, you can take this week to, like, focus more on getting your work done, because you don't got a game to worry about and that traveling on Thursday nights and playing on Saturdays and traveling back, and just you don't worry about all that. So it kind of help to like boost yourself up and catch ahead before you get caught lacking.
All right, Jayla, what do you say, 21?
I got to agree with him. I like taking this bye week and perfecting my craft, trying to get better at what I do. I can never be satisfied with last week's game. It's done. It's over with. Now we got to focus on this bye week, focus on getting better. As Coach B would say, doing the ordinary things exceptionally well. Focus on that. And then in the classroom, just being able to stay on top of my work and not have to stress about it. If we go on an away game or, like on the road, not worrying about doing it on the bus or, on the plane. And just be able to
because you fly, they drive, you fly.
Yeah, I did fly with my dad this weekend. It was cool. My dad comes out to a lot of the away games, so I like to spend time with him after the game. Go get something to eat, and then just hang out with my dad.
That's the best.
Yeah, it is. It really is. My dad's my biggest critic, but he's also my biggest supporter, and it's huge for me. To have a family member, all the way in Fort Worth, Texas, when usually they're just supposed to be sitting at home watching it on TV, but I get to see my dad after every game, so it's pretty cool.
That is fantastic. I have one last simple question for you guys. I want to know who impresses you in the weight room. Jalen, you go first.
Ooh, that's the running back Fontaine.
Donovan Fontaine, he's got some
sure.
pipes.
We worked out in the summer together, and I came in. Usually I'm like the guy that people they send to work harder because when they're in trouble.
This is a freshman.
Yeah, so they send to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to show them how it is here.
Yeah.
Try to like a initiation kind of thing. And he had me running for money for a second. I was like, okay, I like it. But yeah.
That's a tough question because there's a lot of guys that work hard in the weight room. GK does, and the strength and conditioning staff do a great job with us. Somewhat for me, I got to say Alex York. I mean, he's goofy. He's goofy. You probably wouldn't take him serious if you see him, walking around campus. But when he gets in that weight room, that dude's strong. That dude's really, really strong, and he takes his workout ethic very, very serious. And to have him in the back room, it's nice, because he's always motivating me to get better every day, every morning. So I got to go with Alex York.
EC, did you pick up on the theme here? 2 tailbacks putting up the weight, huh?
Yep.
Donovan Fontaine and
Alex York.
AY.
Putting up that steal. Yep.
Fantastic. We got the word. That's it.
Wrap it up.
Show's over.
We got to get these young men out of here.
I tell you what, for Aidan, Quinn, and for Jayla Mitchell, he's Ed Cole. I'm Kevin Derryberry. We want to also thank all of our guys, Kody DeHart, Brent Fahsholz, Coach Krzywiecki, and the young man that played some soccer for us too. Not the biblical studies, gentlemen, but Austin
Crable.
Our man, AC. Nice job. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you for your valuable time here tonight on the Storm Report. And we appreciate Mr. Tim Gosen. And for all of our viewers watching at home, I'm Kevin Derryberry for Ed Cole. Thank you for tuning in.